Territorial Agency, and I'm going to guide you this evening through a series of images that are our way to express how we can reconnect to our structures, to these systems that sustain human life. And it's going to be a project that has been developed recently, and it's all about the Scheldt estuary. Sea level in the last 3,000 years has changed less than 10 centimeters, the size of your palm. For 3,000 years, the sea has gone up and down only within 10 centimeters variation of the mean sea level. Today, we are at the beginning of a complete, unprecedented new inundation. In the coming 30 years, it will be already above 1 meter. In the century that is in front of us, the sea will raise 1.5 meters. And if we are all good boys and girls and do match the Paris Agreement deed of maintaining the Earth within 1.5 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels, the sea will rise well beyond 3.6 meters, inundating areas that are currently inhabited by more than 1 billion people. The aim is to completely transform the way that we imagine the horizon of sea level. The aim of the projects of Territorial Agency is to start thinking together with partners like Vito and the Earth observation partners that we constantly collaborate with, and the scientists and the artists and the policymakers, how to reconnect to the very spaces that we imagine. At the moment, the horizon that we discuss, the interception of the sea level, is very much a series of graphs, very difficult to grasp, like CO2, the emissions of anhydride carbon that is really complex to understand. This graph indicates the last 2,000 years. That is a long period, even going back 10,000 years of the Holocene period, 11,000 years where climate was stable. The same graph that has gone completely out of scale with the last reading at more than 430 parts per million has never been reaching that level in the last 800,000 years. We are now in a new geological epoch. We are a new phase of the Earth history that is driven by us. It is driven by the multiple groups of humans that are interacting in moving and uptaking energy in an unprecedented level. This is what we call the Anthropocene, the new geological epoch that has started with the great acceleration of all human activity and the burning of fossil fuels in the middle of the 20th century. The Anthropocene Territory Project is a project that tries to understand how this ultra-rapid rise of human spaces is intercepting all other living beings, all other structures. The project is to delineate the figure of this new condition, the figure of a new space in the making that is both human and non-human. The Anthropocene is driven by technology. It's driven by the ultra-rapid rise acceleration of technology. And it is only visible from within. It is only possible for us to understand the impact of our technologies through the imaginal technologies that enable exploitation and the great acceleration. So as close as possible as we can be to the technologies of vision from satellites, from sensors in the sky, at the level of the waves and on the ground, the airborne, is the only condition through which we can start seeing the spaces out of which we inhabit. This is an image, for instance, that indicates the areas that will be completely submerged within the next 30 years. The project of Anthropocene Territory Scheldt is a combination of collaborations. It's a combination of multiple collaborations with partners in the Flanders, Vito, Gluon, and among a larger consortium called Starts for Water, which is promoted by the European Union to engage the relationship between the arts and science and technology, to engage with the hydrosphere, with the entire transformation of one of the major components of the Earth system. In our collaboration in Vito, we started connecting the Earth observation data sets. Imagine that there is as much data on the internet as there is for Earth observation. Imagine that everything that you could imagine being the internet, there's an equivalent dark area that is difficult to access if you're not an expert. And we started connecting the data sets from one domain into the other by means of large language models, AI, and combining the different processes that are described in scientific papers or in normal parlance with the complex data sets. Today, we can start using these technologies to reconnect the multiple dynamic spaces that shape our livelihoods with the spaces that we depend on. An Anthropocene territory is a territory that changes completely our notion of inhabitation. No longer a space beneath us that we can control, appropriate, and claim with property and with sovereignty. An Anthropocene territory is one that takes away from humans, takes away our livelihood. It's an incursion, it's an intrusion of the living planet. We need to reconnect to the structures that maintain our livelihood and make sure that we can safeguard them. An Anthropocene territory is no longer a space of calm. It's no longer possible to imagine a condition of peace in nature. Peace is a condition of constant debate, multiple forces that are attracting one with the other. And it is necessary for our survival to reconnect to the multiple networks, living networks, and technological networks that maintain an entity alive. A territory can be snatched away very quickly, revealing its etymology in terror, not in terra. The multiple conditions through which semantically we can reassociate our livelihood with the multiple livelihoods of the other beings that maintain our planet is a condition of constant regulation and constant dynamic interactions is the aim of the collaborations that we are engaging. Making sure that the data that is provided by our organization, most of which is already publicly owned, is reaching the larger public, making sure that the violent reappropriations of our livelihood taken by the oil industry and the burning of fossil fuels can become ways to reconnect to a new Earth that emerges. It emerges in darkness, but at the same time, if you think that the fact that in the last 30 years, humanity has completely urbanized, and we've become a coastal species. More than half of humans live within 50 kilometers of the coast. In the last 30 years, we've done this enormous damage. We have 30 years ahead of us where we can completely transform our urbanization processes, reconnect the multiple spaces that are constantly overlapping one with the other, and build an open future. Thank you very much. This is Anthropocene Territory Scheldt, a collaborative project by Territorial Agency in collaboration with Starts for Water, Vito, and Gluon.
Vielen Dank. Vielen Dank. Thank you so much, John, for an amazing presentation. I think you're very happy that you're in the Freedom stage because the visuals really came to life. Just about the Starts for Water project, an initiative by the European Commission that you're also a part of. What is the main goal behind that initiative?
The main goal is to make sure that all citizens are aware and can act on the ultra-rapid transformation of the hydrosphere. The hydrosphere is water in all its parts at the planetary level. And we need to combine science, technology, and art in order to make it a cultural living space, in order to safeguard our waters.
It's a unique combination to combine art and science and technology to make an impact. How do you bring together all those artists and scientists? How does that go?
It's the most difficult thing to have people collaborate. If you start with 2, they might quarrel. 3, it's already a row. But the point is that when there's something at stake, when there's something that matters of concern are how we bring them together. That's really the aim, to abandon the idea that science gives you fact and arts and politics gives you the way the Earth should be, or the planet could be. We are always dealing with things together.
That makes a difference, and that's also the message of Tomorrowland and Love Tomorrow, of course. How do partners like Vito, as of course we've talked about today already, and Gluon, for example, how do they contribute to the success of the project?
Let's start with Gluon. Gluon is an organization based in Brussels that has promoted this kind of collaborations from the outset. They are really the leaders in Europe. Many people in Europe and across the world look at Gluon for their capacity of combining art and science, but also children education. It's really a fantastic organization, and I see some of our friends here. Vito is from technology. So the organization of the partnership for the residency that we've engaged on is already remarkable because the 2 main hosts are already in the different fields.
Yeah, and interfering and interchanging.
Yes.
John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Aster.
A round of applause for John of Territorial Agency. Impressive.